this. Does this kind of, so I'm going to play this. So yeah, now Satya Nadella got all but hurt. Now I want to clarify this because I'm probably gonna go to the fan fest, so I'm not trying to ruffle a whole lot of feathers.
He doesn't go, so you'll be fine.
Yeah, but not actually. No, I'm not. I'm gonna ruffle feathers because his comments were absolutely tone deaf, and I'll put a link in the description. But there's a certain amount of states that I am in where state governments have passed bills for these AI data centers to come in. Now they're putting nuclear power and stuff like that to fund it, and that's great. That's a great long-term solution. But guess who they're passing? Yeah, it's not a right now thing. But guess who they're passing those? So basically, they're subsidizing these AI data centers to come into these states. I'll have the link, I promise. And guess who they're going to pass off those subsidies to? Other customers. And this year, my electric bill has nearly tripled because of it. So at this point, I understand his comments were tone deaf for one.
Don't talk about how great AI is when it's not doing anything for me other than raising my bills.
Exactly. And he was talking it like he was his child. Dude, it's, as they say in the Clone Wars, it's just a clanker. So let's calm down, dude. And now I'm getting directly affected. And wouldn't you know it, if my electric bill's 3 times more, how you expect me to pay for Game Pass consistently? You know what I mean? So, and the reason I get into this, and I wanted to segue into this, is, I like Phil, I like his direction, I like Sarah Bond, but at the end of the day, there is a top dog that has other priorities, and Microsoft's priorities are just AI. Dude, stop. You're in 3rd place anyways. Why don't you redirect? Because ChatGPT is number 1. And I don't want to get a whole tirade about AI because it's kind of been beaten to death. Everyone understands the implications of it. And I had my issues with it. So now that it's affecting me and my lifestyle and how I conduct stuff, I'm a little annoyed. So I say that to say this. They should probably get World of Warcraft on the Xbox, because if these AI chips, this chip shortage and the rising costs, I mean, look at the leak thing about the Steam Deck or the Steam machine or whatever they're calling it. The 512 model is almost $900.
No, so what I saw, the 512 model was $950, and the 2 model was like $1,070, which kind of doesn't make sense for the price gap for how much memory is there. Like it's like a $120 price gap, but
yeah,
an extra gig and a half, that doesn't compute.
Rude, says Blood Raven. What's up, buddy? So StarCraft at BlizzCon, yeah, I think we see it. I don't think we see anything substantial, but I think we just get a logo and it says, hey, it's coming, we're listening. But so with the Steam machine going to be that price, God only knows what the Xbox version of that one's going to be. Does Microsoft delay? I've seen Desden talk about it, that they should delay it. And I would not hate that, because now I feel like I'll get more life out of my Series X. And honestly, the only thing I'm not playing on my Series X is Warcraft. And if they bring that over, I really think so, because I think we're going to maybe see a 1-2 year delay. I don't really have any like expertise or insight or anything like that. That's just a gut feeling of mine. So much like with Sony putting stuff on Xbox, I would just go ahead and put stuff on Xbox now, because we don't know when this hybrid PC console's even coming. You know what I mean? They could have delayed Magnus. So I would say that that's what Blizzard should do, is go ahead and bring it on console, get more people on, bring it on PlayStation. Yeah, I said it because we're over the whole exclusivity thing. We know what's coming down the line and nobody cares anymore except the hyper fanboys. But that's what I think. But I'm done with my tirade. I apologize. I've just been feeling the pinch lately, and his comments rub me the wrong way. So we'll switch to a more positive side, unless you guys have anything else to add to the AI stuff.
Nothing to apologize, bro. Like, I'm in Jersey, we're feeling the sting too. Like, our energy bills have like doubled, damn near tripled themselves. So it's understandable to be frustrated that you're not seeing a personal benefit of these data centers and the use of AI, other than like some half-working co-pilot uh, questions that you can ask, or Grok, or Gemini, or whatever. All these different ones that you can use, but they're not. Is that worth your bill tripling?
Don't get me started on
Absolutely
Grok,
not.
man. This is they're talking about banning Twitter in the UK now because of that.
Hey, you know what
Grok's doing?
So my problem still, it will always be this: if you're setting up your AI, and then your AI is giving answers, and you keep fiddling with it, like, and I'll use fiddling as the, but if you keep messing with your AI because it's not giving the answers that you want to give, even though it's giving appropriate answers in some way, shape, or form. And then, like, we went from remember where it began. I'm sorry, tangent. Remember where Grok began, where it was like it was giving answers and the answers were too woke because they were based off of facts and like the information that it scoured from the internet. And they're like, no, we need to fix that. And then they went from the answers being too woke to being like straight up Nazi answers. And then, like, it's just been up and down from there, because every single time it gives an answer that's not to the likes of what he wants it to be, or with the people that he wants that like follow him don't want it to be, then, oh, we got to fix it, we got to change it because this isn't the answer we want to give it. I don't trust your AI then, because if you have to keep filling and tweaking and messing with how the AI works, when it's working fine, you just don't like the answer that it's giving, then, like, why would I trust what your AI, the answers that your AI gives people in the future after you've tweaked it to the point where it's to your liking?
Yep. It's manipulative. Now, there is one thing, I'll say this real quick, and then I definitely want to see Cork's opinions on it. There is one interesting thing that Microsoft did invest in before they went full AI, and that was their cloud servers. And with rising hardware costs, they might be at a somewhat of advantage with their cloud gaming, them and NVIDIA GeForce. So now with the technology and latencies going down, you could see a boom in cloud gaming now, just on the sense that, so Microsoft bad, Microsoft good. So it's kind of one of those double-edged swords with them. And of course, I'm pleased with the option of cloud gaming. And honestly, the Play Anywhere stuff has actually been very impressive. And I really enjoy that as a very consumer friendly. So just because I had issues with the AI doesn't mean I'm completely dunking on Xbox per se. Microsoft itself really needs to quit being so corporate, but I know at the end of the day, that's how you make money. But yeah, the Play Anywhere and the cloud gaming seem like two very pro consumer options. The first one being considered hardware cost and how expensive it'll be. But anyway, Cork, what do you think, buddy?
Yeah, so okay, get the virtual tomatoes ready. I'm for AI, and I think AI is something that's very powerful. It's something that it's very multifaceted. I think what it can do and what it's doing currently is great. So I get why Nadella feels upset about terms like AI slop, because I don't think it fully represents what AI can do or what it's currently doing. But this is also a problem that is created by companies that are using AI in a very sloppy manner. So I get why AI slop exists. And I don't blame people for using the term, because I feel and I feel companies are using AI in a certain way that's not very conducive, and it doesn't benefit the consumer as much as, like you said, your energy bills are tripling. There's things that AI isn't doing right now at a level that is very consumer friendly, but everything's being passed on to the consumer, and
Hmm.
that's unfair. That's not right. That you shouldn't, if you're going to use AI on the back end, consumers shouldn't feel the burn and the effect on the front end of that. You shouldn't be passing that on to the consumer. Um, so I get why he doesn't like the term, but it's also something that you're creating at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's my frustration with AI, is that there's certain things at my job I wish I could use AI for that would just expedite the process significantly, rather than, waste a ton of time, that I could be focusing on other things to get my job done, rather than feeling overburdened and, rushed and things like that, when I could just reduce it, 3 times as much. So yeah, I am for AI, but I also don't believe that companies should be passing that on to the consumer when they're not seeing the benefit of AI yet. Because like I said, go ahead, Q.
I was just going to say to that. I just wanted to make it clear. Like, I'm not like against AI. I think AI has appropriate uses, and it
Hmm.
definitely is something that is can make work easier for people and make processes faster for people. I think
If
like
it
like
empowers and not replaces,
yeah,
right?
exactly. It empowers
Yeah.
and not replaces. This is a
Yeah.
good thing to say. And it's just like for people that don't like for people that like the average person that's not working in like a tech job or industry that uses AI very much, like Gold Show was saying, it is okay, what experience do you have with AI? And it's like, oh, I can use Copilot, I can use Gemini, I can use Grok. But then, like, what other experience do you have with AI? Is like, oh, they're building data centers near my home, and it's made my energy bill go up. Oh, like
Yeah.
we're looking at videos of stuff, and people are making like deep
Oh, and
fake
it actually
stuff
has a bunch of
of.
noise pollution too. There's
Oh,
a
I didn't
data
know that.
center that, yeah, my wife's aunt uh lives near one, and apparently there's just this constant humming that they
Oh
can hear
God.
for,
Oh God.
yeah,
Or
And
like,
that's
yeah.
yeah. And that's
or
part of
like
what I
people
was
on the
saying is
internet
like,
making. I was
if
gonna say
if you're
people
going
on
to
the
use
internet
AI
making
on the
deep
back
fakes.
end, don't have consumers feel it on the front end. It's not their responsibility. It's not their it's they shouldn't have to feel the burden of your company using AI. And that's my biggest problem with it, especially with when you get terms like AI slop. There's people that are creating stuff that is it's just
Slop.
nonsense. It's a waste of resources. I get it. You're using it to like make funny, like, cat videos and shit like that, but like that's kind of AI slop in the sense of what it's being used for, when you can use it, to increase medical advances, or how teachers are able to teach children in the classroom, or how first responders are able to assess a situation faster, quicker, so like I said, I get why he's frustrated by it, but you're
I
also
also get why
putting
people are like, yo, this is AI slop.
yeah, but yeah, and then I get, so why I guess why he's frustrated, but then again, you don't give the consumer safeguards. You're not putting anything out there to stop them from using it in a very haphazard and horrible manner. So you are creating AI slop in that same sense. So you
Exactly.
can't be upset at something that you're giving the consumer, and of course the consumer is using it in a way you never intended for, but then you also don't have restrictions to stop them from
From
using it
using
in
it.
that same fashion. So that's
Exactly.
my biggest problem with AI. I'm 100% for AI, but I think it needs to be very heavily reined in, and it needs to have a specific purpose that isn't for or that benefits consumers, but they don't feel that cost because it's not their responsibility. It's not the consumer's responsibility to pay for your AI. You're doing it to benefit your company. You're doing it to streamline your company. That's not a consumer problem. That's a you problem. And that's my problem with it is I think corporations are using AI. And this is why I feel the bubble's going to burst soon, is because I feel companies are passing this on to the consumer when they're not really seeing the benefit of it.
Yep.
I do have one thing as far as the AI and as far as the AI goes. I want to go on to the art aspect. I have issues. I'm an artist. I like to draw stuff, more comic book, cartoonist stuff like that. So when I see stuff like that, it's easy to recognize. But I will say there's one benefit that I'm seeing, and it's more of an indirect benefit. I do know artists are losing their jobs and having stuff like that. Like there's whole ads that are done in AI, which could have, helped artists that are making a living. But stuff like this. I just drew Banjo Kazooie. It's cool. I like it. It's kind of jank. But now with AI and I think people are going to appreciate the jank from like an actual artist perspective. If that makes sense. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
There's a human aspect you can't replicate with AI.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes sense. Like, I mean, look at E33, look at Sandfall. They got kicked out of the, I'm going to go on a little tangent as well. You guys had your 2 tangents. This is my tangent. Look at Sandfall and how they got unfairly mistreated by the Indie Game Awards, especially when somebody's making a video and you got an AI filter on your face to reduce your goddamn wrinkles. Like, how are you going to judge another effing company on their use of AI when you're using a goddamn filter on your face it's mind-blowing, like the disassociation. But even still, Sandfall didn't do it to replace somebody. They didn't do it to stop to take away a job from somebody. When you're doing level design, there's multifaceted points where you have to look and see, and sometimes this is so a little bit on how the sausage is made. Usually what temporary art assets is like a giant ass pink blob. So if you're trying to design a level, when you have that level of artistic style in E33, the last thing you want is a giant ass pink blob center stage of your level, ruining that whole aesthetic, ruining that whole vision. Some can get past it, some can't. So what you do, so you have 3 options. A, you either
you're talking about AI brainstorming, and I do see the benefits in that. So continue. Sorry.
So either A, you hire somebody, which takes away from your budget, and they're going to create an art asset for that, which is going to take time away from what they could be creating. Mm-hmm. And then 3, you're going to junk that asset at the very end, making it absolutely worthless.
And just time consuming.
Just to get the vision. Or B, you could just use AI to make something concept wise just for visual aesthetics. And then you get somebody, hey, this is what I like. This is what I want. Something similar, put your spin on it, make something, create something that will fit this vision we have, and we'll use it in our game. And then you're paying somebody to create that. And then you actually have a permanent asset that you can use that somebody was actually paid for to create. And that's my biggest frustration is E33 got reprimanded for not having a AAA budget. But then, so why are you honoring them in the Indie Game Awards? You're punishing them for developing a game with indie money, but you're punishing them because they didn't use AAA money. Like that it just doesn't make sense to me. So that was my biggest frustration is AI is great when it comes and it's used in certain aspects, like Q said, where it's not replacing. It's just it's helping and it's benefiting and it's creating something that somebody else can be like, you know what? I maybe now saw that. Maybe I can create it, because in the job world, you're not going to be able to sit there and find the perfect piece. That just doesn't work 99% of the time, especially when you're doing an art asset or you have a certain vision, unless you're drawing it yourself. you're not going to find somebody that's going to fit that mold perfectly. But if you can give somebody an idea and you can say, hey, work off of that, and then you can mold it and shape it. I'd rather have an indie developer do that than just straight out be like, we're going to use AI to just replace everything. And I get it. Times are hard. Budgets being 300, $400 million plus, it makes, but that's AAA games. For indie games, it's even harder because, you're looking at $10 million, $11 million that, maybe you don't have that, people, or you have a dev team of 12 people. It stacks up after a while. And so you have to think outside the box. And the only way you're going to be able to think outside the box and working with the confines of a budget as an indie game studio is to use AI nowadays, because you can't go out there and say, I'm going to pay you $50,000 as a concept artist when you can barely keep the lights on. And this is your main title. And some people will be like, oh well, maybe they shouldn't create games if they can't afford it. Art is art, and some people have passion. There's things that maybe you have a passion for that, and it's like, maybe you shouldn't do that. How would you feel if somebody's like, well, maybe Gold Shell, maybe you shouldn't be fucking drawing Banjo and Kazooie if you can't get the jank out of it? It's like, see how stupid that sounds? Like, it's the same exact point.
Jank's my style, though.
There you go. Jank it up. But that's what, and that's what I kind of feel like people are negatively against AI because of how other people use it in a bad fashion. And I get it, but that's not AI in general. Does that make sense? I know
it's not AI's fault.
They're going to run with it and be like, oh, he's in favor for AI. I don't care, but I'm not in favor for AI to replace. I'm in favor for AI to create and help people think outside the box and to create bigger, better things.
Yeah. So what would we? So we'll go ahead and wrap this up and then go to the exciting stuff, because I think we got a good discussion going on AI. So what would you say if you were to do a 60-40 in favor of, not in favor of? Q, what's your
I'm sorry, I was playing a game for a second.
Busted. I was refreshing the thing.
In favor of, not in favor of AI.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I hate AI. So for those that don't know, FarQ is an AI master. He makes some of the really greatest, funniest pictures on Web Dave that I've seen. Things like that. Like somebody like FarQ that can create really funny things in a jokingly manner, and it becomes a style, and I love that. Like FarQ is probably one of the best.
So I 60-40, I honestly I give it 70-30. I like AI. I don't have a problem with AI. I don't use it enough to be like I like it, but I don't have a problem with its existence. My problem, like Cork says, comes with how people use it, and like there not being any safeguards or restraints in how it progresses. Like, yo, I'm a big sci-fi nerd. So you tell me you don't have any safeguards on AI, and the first thing that comes to my head is Terminator, right? I'm thinking Skynet, right? I'm thinking every dumb like B budget sci-fi movie that you watch where it's like, oh, the AI took over, or the AI is going to take over, and then obviously that's, what, we can't even, we're at this point in society where we can't even say that that's far and away. I'll just say that, like, I don't have a problem with AI. I think there needs to be more safeguarding. I think people need to be more responsible with its use. And I'll give a perfect example of like a use of it that frustrated the heck out of me. Just, not to get super into politics, but remember a couple months ago when we were facing with when we were first facing with the government shutdown, and then we were facing with like people that were on social benefits, like losing their benefits like SNAP and housing assistance and all that stuff. And you go on to things like Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and you see people making these AI videos of like Black women talk about something. I'm a single Black mom with 7 kids, and I don't work because I don't need to, because I'm on welfare, and they're taking my welfare away. And it's like, is this really what, like, again, with Gold Shell talking about prices like energy prices going up. It's like, yo, do we really? Is it really worth the energy, the the security of information? Like people that can't tell the difference between AI and real people, seeing stuff like that on TV, and then TV, seeing stuff like that on social media and taking that as fact, because there was a ton of them, and it's like, yo, this is like obviously I saw the videos and was like, yo, okay, this is fake, this is AI, but everybody's not going to see stuff like that and be like, this is fake, this is AI. And we are increasingly moving towards a time where we're going to have a big issue with deepfakes. Because then when is it going to be, if we're not safe, if there's no safeguard, if there's no like watermark to be like, oh, this is AI, when we finally do, we'll get to a point where, okay, you can't tell the difference between this AI video and an actual real video. And then where are we then? If we don't have the safeguards, if we don't have the thing, and then with people using it and people using all the data that it takes to make these AI videos, you're you're paying basically for people to be extra super racist online. Because you're going to be paying the energy bill for people to put stupid deep fake videos on the internet using AI. And it's like it's frustrating things like that. Again, it's the way that people use it. It's frustrating things like that when you're watching it and you're like, yo, like
I love my energy bill going up for dudes
things.
to want to put a bikini on some chick on Twitter. I love it. I love
cats, or cats walking upright and having boxing matches. Like, yo, what is?
Never mind. I was gonna say, wait, you guys are going a little too far. Okay, I mean, bikinis on chicks and
no, these are like
cat videos. Let's go. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
These are real like things that I've seen that people use AI for. That it's just like, all right, this isn't worth my energy bill going up. This isn't worth is
it worth the environmental impact or slashing jobs? I mean, I respect Cork's opinion, but I do disagree with a lot of it. I do agree with the AI brainstorming, and I do see potential for accessibility increases. So, but some of the other stuff, like Q was talking about with the deep fakes, not knowing stuff is real, they put a deep fake like a couple of years ago when the technology was in its infancy, people did deep fakes of George Lucas and Harrison Ford smoking weed on YouTube, and it was hilarious. But now with the technology, you don't know if you knew because of its jank and its technology that it was fake, and you can see past it and see it as comedy. Now, but I'm going to give it 80-20, 80 against 20 in favor. Go ahead, Cork. We'll go ahead and wrap that up and go to something more positive.
So I would probably go in the opposite, 84 84 and then 20 against. There's things that I think people aren't really using AI for that it really could, especially when it comes to like the medical field, how
accessibility.
Things like that for accessibility, things like, think of an EMT that's hitting a scene, especially as a new EMT, that might not know everything that they should. They get to a scene and they have their, tablet, and they could just say triage a bleeding out patient, and then instantly, bam, 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 bam. This is what you got to do, where you have something where you don't have to rely on that muscle memory that you might not have developed yet as a veteran EMT. This would help with expedite that process. And now you could start saving lives. Or you could look at AI where, as something like for teaching, where, I have a child that might have ADHD. What are some things that I can do as a teacher? You ask the AI to help visually stimulate or, try and get through that process of dealing with a child with ADHD. Things like that. I think there's a definitely big benefit for this. But instead, like you said, we're putting bikinis on dudes and fucking cats, playing guitars. It's just
bikinis on women that are just dressed normally, just to be perverted.
Okay. I mean, you
That's
can also
what they're
put
doing.
bikinis on dudes if if that's your thing. I might have looked at
I mean,
Q's
if that's your
history
thing,
recently.
sure, but
I'm just saying. Um, I'm just saying, and that's why I go back to my previous thing of AI slop is like that's what you're doing. You're not putting these safeguards. You're not putting these restrictions in to stop people from doing that kind of stuff. But you could be doing it is to open it up to where, yeah, you can have somebody in the medical field run up to somebody that has a gunshot wound, gunshot wound, and then boom, it just tells you everything. You got to triage, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, rather than them having to stop right there and think of their training, and then they might not have that muscle memory. This helps build that. So that's my thing. So I am all for AI. I think people will think it's going to replace, but I don't think people. I think people automatically doom it versus trying to see how it would actually be applied.
Sorry, I was talking to my daughter. She was.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. I mean, I can keep talking and just wasting everybody's time. I'm good at that.
He'll keep expounding upon the greatness of AI.
Yes.
AI.
I will say this though, Cork, and then we'll move over. Wait a minute.
Maybe I'm using an AI filter, and I'm actually Nadella, behind this.
Don't call it slop.
I see why, and it's a problem that the companies create themselves, and that's the problem. So it's hypocritical for him to be like get upset over terms like AI slop when you do nothing to stop the AI slop. It's your own creation.
Thank you. That's what I wanted you to say.
Yeah,
because he was talking about this is what rubbed me the wrong way. He was talking about how it's other people's job to do it, and I'm paraphrasing. No, asshole, it's your job. You're the one giving it out to the consumer. And then when you have shit like what's going on to get what's going on that's having the UK possibly ban it, well, guess what? Now those other organizations are now doing something about it, which is going to block your platforms. And if you stood up and did the regulations yourself, you wouldn't be in the hot water you're in now. So sorry.
Factuals. Nope, you're
right. We went off on a crazy ass rant on that. That was great.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Sorry. I'm a little amped up. Anyway.
No, that's cool. If Nadella's ever see this, he's gonna be throwing air punches and karate kicks into his Cortana waifu Bella.
Hey, you know what?
He's not gonna be happy.
As Gumbo, we need to be an AI podcast.
No, we will not be, because I know how to draw. Here's the thing.
Yeah,
now, I do want to touch about.
We'll never be. He has the jank, as he said.
I will say this though, like with Court going on to do his own thing and Q and I kind of doing our own thing. This is kind of a creative outlet for me. This is where I can do. I have a degree in media studies and telecommunications. I used to be IT, but I have a minor in digital media design and stuff like that. And I use Photopea, Clipchamp, which is a Microsoft product I pay for. So I'm still giving you money. Don't worry. But this is a creative outlet for me. I have took a lot of classes in radio and stuff like that. So, I like to do things myself. It's my creative outlet. It's a hobby. If we grow the channel if the channel doesn't grow when you leave, it is what it is. But, I like to build a community and just have a bunch of people come in, but I like to use that as a way to, express my art, show my artistic expression. And no, I will be doing it all myself. There will be no AI. Sorry.
There you go.
And FarQ, hey, and I don't mean any slight to you, buddy. That is not where I'm coming on. You do you. You're helping people. You're making people laugh and stuff like that. I'm just talking about the more. These comments are not aimed at you.
No, so I don't think he takes it like that.
I just want to clarify that.
He knows he does it in fun.
Yeah.
And he's the type of person I'm
sorry, my electric
about.
Bill tripled, so
it's FarQ's fault in the UK that your electric bill's tripled. That's
it's not his fault in the UK. He's just ruining people near data centers in those areas.
Yeah, he does it to inspire and create discussion, and that's what I love about it. He uses AI in the correct ways, or at least I wouldn't say correct because it's subjective in that sense. He uses AI in a way that will have fun and create discussion. He's not using it to benefit. He's not using it to profiteer. He's not using it in a way that's going to replace anything. It's all in fun. It's all in love. It's all in joking manners.
Or
So,
gross.
yeah.
He's not using it for gross. So
I mean, he was talking to, no, I was going to say,
no.
The bikinis, the UK prime minister in bikinis, but that would be hilarious. I would fucking laugh my ass off. But yeah,
All right,
no,
I think we've
he knows what
beaten
I don't think he's
Skynet
saying